Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We are live in Abuja. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. A soft reminder that you can follow these news broadcasts live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. The federal government is collaborating with the Sun Africa, a US-based renewable energy and infrastructure company, towards delivering 1,000 megawatts of solar power generation plants in multiple locations across Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari, who received the team, said the rapid integration of solar power into the country's energy mix is a critical pathway towards increasing access to electricity by the underserved as well as the unserved communities. Nigeria's current security challenges and emerging threats require the country's military and other relevant stakeholders to be several steps ahead of perpetrators while also stepping up local productions of armaments. This was one of the highlights of the response of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo after receiving a presentation on defense transformation and national security strategic options for Nigeria of the future by the National Defense College course 30 participants. At the virtual interaction, the Vice President observed that from the nature of challenges being faced by the country, it is evident that the nation needs to be many steps ahead of non-state actors. He commended the course participants for their efforts in proposing innovations in the defense sector, emphasizing the urgency for local production of arms and the need for transparency in the management of resources meant for the acquisition of hardware and security agencies. Still on security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, is urging Nigerians to reflect on the lessons of the Civil War and avoid acts capable of repeating such bitter experience. He gave the advice in a message to the third edition of the Army War College Symposium on the Nigeria Civil War. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa completes the report.
It's been 52 years since the end of the Nigerian Civil War, but the scars are still fresh to remind the nation of the sad moments. As the nation battled insurgents and rising insecurity on several fronts, the military is asking Nigerians to avoid issues which could plunge the nation into further crisis.
Nearly 7 years after independence, we had the sad experience of a violent civil war which lasted from June 1967 to January 1970. Sad as it may be, the story of the Nigerian Civil War has huge potential to bring out the valuable lessons that could contribute in addressing the current security challenges confronting us as a nation.
The Army War College Nigeria was established in 2017 and it has the study of the Nigerian Civil War in its military history curriculum. This is with the objective to study and teach both the operational and strategic level activities of the Nigerian Civil War for better understanding of battlefield events and the operational outcome, as well as all activities that characterize the war.
The lectures focus on defense procurement, production and the challenges of logistics.
The lecture is exposing the operational commanders who are the participants of this program to use the historical knowledge that we educate them so that to apply in their operational activities.
The symposium is organized for operational commanders, representatives from different security agencies, and those from the civilian environment. From the Nigerian Army War College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Kebbi state government has denied the rumor making the rounds of bandits purportedly being sighted around the Kamba axis in its northern part, affirming that it was unfounded. The deputy governor of the state said this while briefing on the general security situation in the state. Abubakar Garba Digi completes the report.
Most especially communities around Kamba border and its surroundings were recently gripped in apprehension and fear following the alleged sighting of bandits wandering in the area. The response by the government and security agencies was not unexpected, with adequate measures being deployed to allay such fears and what is expected of the public in a situation like the one at hand. Retired Colonel Samaila Yombe Dabe is the deputy governor of the state.
When you examine the widespread of this insecurity, you begin to think of the cause. You realize that it's something that government really has to sit up and take care of. And I believe the government of Muhammad Buhari is doing all it can to sort out and solve this problem, because it's a very serious challenge. And I want to assure you that we will get to the end of it.
The deputy governor was also quick to spell out what the public can do to address the current pockets of security challenge in some parts of the state.
When the weapon carried to those designated by government, you can defend yourself by getting information or actively going to find out information to help the security agents.
The briefing had in attendance representatives of security agencies in the state and other key stakeholders. In Borno, Kebbi, I'm Ibrahim Ahmedu.
Federal government says it is making adequate arrangement to deploy high technological security equipment to rail infrastructure across the country. The Minister of Transformation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, on a familiarization visit to the Idu and Kubwa stations in Abuja, said the equipment will be installed before resuming train operations in Abuja and Kaduna routes.
We must make sure that we put in place every infrastructure that will ensure that lives are safeguarded. So the technology that is going to be deployed is such that you can perceive the threat and eliminate it before you get to the place. That's being proactive. But the government of God will make sure that these services resume, but not until those have been achieved.
In continuation of his familiarization visit, the minister is inspecting the ongoing construction of the Kano to Kaduna train project. Still on security, this time on the education sector, securing the learning environment is a collective responsibility of both the government and the public. And to further reinforce this synergy at national and subnational levels, development partners are strengthening security ties with government to maintain security threats, security threats across schools. Abubakar Musa completes the report.
The Chibok, Dapchi, and Kankara incident, where students were kidnapped, is still fresh on the minds of these three, who were the principals of the schools at the time of the incident.
She's by name Dokas Yakubu. She's still with them, but we are still praying. We did not lose hope. One day, God will touch their hearts so that they will allow them to come out.
This set the stage for the conversation on finding a lasting solutions to safeguarding schools in the country with a view to reducing out-of-school children in Nigeria, which stands at 18.5 million.
Governors understand that provision of security through direct deployment of security personnel to school is a top priority through budgetary allocation to education.
The goal is to develop a robust, collaborative, costed plan which will adopt the whole society approach to safe schools.
We've supported the domestication of the Safe Schools Declaration and the development and implementation of the national policy in safety, security and violence-free schools.
I say this to the government. You have 20% of the time to fulfill your mandate as an elected government, and you still have 100% of your policies to fulfill in education.
But here in Nigeria, for the past 6 years, we've been investing in the capacity building and training of over 150 Nigerian police force officers, focusing on their role as protectors of civilians and first responders to terrorist incidents.
With the recent closure of some schools in Abuja and Nasarawa State due to security threat, the forum is urging for more action at all levels so that children can feel free and safe to go to school. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Thanks, Musa Abubakar there. And the bill proposing amendment to the National Youth Service Corps Act towards granting autonomy to the Agency for Greater Impact will soon be forwarded to the President for assent. Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Youth Development, Yemi Adaramodu, gave the hint while addressing core members during an oversight visit to the NYSC camp in Mangu, Plateau State. The legislature, he added, made provisions to enable the NYSC draw funds directly from the Federation accounts to fund entrepreneurial trainings for self-reliance.
Journey. So they are not waiting for tomorrow. Today they have already. And then what they do in camp here, because I've seen discipline in them, I've seen orderliness in them, and I know that all members that I saw here today, they are going to make it. They will go places.
The delegation met with the State Deputy Governor, Sonny Chiodem, to appeal for more support in the provision of facilities to make life more conducive for the core members at the camp. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has embarked on sensitization of secondary school final year students in Imo State as part of measures to check cases of human trafficking in the country. Chuma Nwakwere, who covered the Enlightenment campaign in Owerri, has the details.
Told me they are going to take me to Italy, but finally I landed myself in Libya.
Those were some of the harrowing experiences of victims of human trafficking. Some of the final year students of Owerri Girls Secondary School Owerri, who were host to officials of National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Imo State Command, attest to the sensitization program.
I've learned how to know when someone wants to exploit or use me. I was able to learn what human trafficking is, the ways that human trafficking can occur.
Very importantly, and that is my joy, that these students, this target audience who we sensitize today are in their terminal class. This is age of taking decision. Overtures will begin to come now. They are living here to the society.
Some resource persons, guests, were on hand.
We are possibly urging every Nigerian to make sure that we put a stop or reduce to a barest minimal this issue of human trafficking in Nigeria.
They will sensitize others, telling them what is necessary.
In Owerri, Chuma Nwakwere, NTA News.
It's time for us to join Zenret in Jos for more reports on Nationwide. It's over to you.
Thank you, Hawa. Welcome to Jos. Thank you, Hawa. Welcome to Jos. Operation Save Heaven has trained 165 members of the Civilian Joint Task Force on Community Watch and Security Information Gathering Process in Riom local government area of Plateau State. Commander Operation Save Heaven, Major General Ibrahim Ali reminded the trainees of the oath of allegiance to which they swore and advised them to be more vigilant and impartial in the discharge of their duties. Sadat Muhammad Kafa has details.
The trainees were drawn from various communities of Riom local government, cutting across religious and ethnic backgrounds to work with the security agencies in monitoring and curbing crime. Commander Operation Safe Haven, represented, says security requires continuous collaboration and support of the people, noting that timely sharing of information with security agencies is key to peace and security.
Security is everybody's business, and there is no viable alternative to peace and unity of purpose. Therefore, all hands must be on deck and in oneness we must work together to ensure that we live in peace in our respective communities.
Without peace in our community, there can be no meaningful growth and development.
Member representing Riom at the State House of Assembly, Timothy Dangtong, and the chairman Riom local government area applauded Operation Safe Haven for initiating measures to secure communities on the plateau.
The situation that we will have a peaceful environment that will also promote development and bring progress to our people.
We appreciate this training you've done for these people, and we believe and hope that we put our heads together and ensure that Riom sleeps peacefully.
In Jos, Sa'adat Muhammad Kafa, NTA News.
Jos University Teaching Hospital is to be given special consideration in the 2023 budget for health institutions to enable it to discharge its responsibilities efficiently. This was during oversight visit of members of House of Representatives Committee on Health Institutions. Talisha Dalip Samaila reports.
The Committee on Health Institutions was in Juth to assess the level of capital projects in the hospital with a view to finding solutions to challenges confronting it. Projects visited include the newly constructed psychiatric department, IVF center, pharmaceutical store, and the power plant which was recently gutted by fire.
I know as representatives of the people, you are interested in curbing this medical tourism. You have the capability, but just to get one heart-lung machine, sir, it's 120 million. And you need that heart-lung machine to keep, the heart before while you operate and all. So this intervention, we can do these things in country.
The visit followed a motion earlier raised by member representing Jos South, Jos East Federal Constituency, Bachung Musa Bagos, on the need to adequately fund the Jos University Teaching Hospital. Members of the committee were unanimous in their views to ensure the 2023 budget of health institutions gives special consideration to the Jos University Teaching Hospital.
The federal government should do everything possible to ensure that before as we are preparing this 2023 budget, that adequate provision is made for that MRI and CT scan, because an institution of this magnitude is not supposed to operate without those basic equipment.
In Jos, Felicia Daliop Samaila, NTA News.
And that's our contribution to Nationwide. It's back to Hawa in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Gulf Federation announces its first Nigeria Gulf Federation Summit. This summit will discuss salient topical issues that relate to the development and upliftment of Gulf in Nigeria. Chairman General IBM Haruna, Special Guest of Honor, Honorable Minister of Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare, Convener Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, OON, President Nigeria Gulf Federation. Date 31st August to 2nd September 2022. Venue Ladikwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel and Towers, Abuja. Time 10 a.m. prompt. This event is supported by Polaris Bank, Nigerian Television Authority NTA, Africa Independent Television AIT, Gulf Garden, Anchor Insurance, and Royal Ceramics. Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, OON, President Nigeria Gulf Federation, announcer.
Harmony of biodiversity destroyed, birthing climate crisis and crying faces.
Dicey situation indeed, yet we carry on like a bull in a china shop.
On environment matters, we take the bull by the horns, plumb the nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
Asking tough questions,
examining challenges and opportunities,
giving human face to the science, facts, faiths, and global agreements. It's a call for action. Don't miss it.
Join award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe and other NTA Eco reporters for Environment Matters.
It's life. Once you lose hope, you lose life. Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike.
What would you attribute this backwardness in education to in the North to date?
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
The program is reflections.
Thanks for rejoining us to Health Matters Now. Exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months and beyond with complimentary baby-friendly local cereals re-echoes as guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria emphasized this would add value towards ensuring that babies grow healthy. Over now to Abdusalam Jibril.
Data from the Federal Ministry of Health reveals that the exclusive breastfeeding rate in Nigeria is 29%, and only 9% of organizations have a workplace breastfeeding policy. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria identify lack of information and cultural practices as some challenges to achieving exclusive breastfeeding.
So in terms of friendly environment to continue to breastfeed, I think that is a challenge. And because when you work, most of our maternity leave is just 4 months maximum in Nigeria. And then in private sector, it's even worse.
You know, when a young mother, first-time mother tries to breastfeed, sometimes it's difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. But hormones are there and all mothers can adequately breastfeed their children, but they need the support.
We're not just looking at only in workplaces. We're also advocating for space even in the communities.
Chairman, Bauchi State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Rilwanu Mohammed, decries the low level of breastfeeding in the state and harps on increasing awareness that would serve as a reminder of how cost-effective and healthy the practice is.
All mothers should breastfeed their child exclusively for the first 6 months. Thereafter, we want the Federal Ministry of Health to bring back the issue of nutrition corner.
The guest also advocates personal hygiene for breastfeeding mothers, proper training for healthcare practitioners, and continuous sensitization for religious and community leaders towards ensuring that exclusive breastfeeding becomes the norm nationwide. In Abuja, Abdul Salam Jibril, NTA News.
And to reduce maternal and neonatal mortality, leadership of organizations are expected to develop workable policies to promote breastfeeding in workplaces. Elizabeth Omori reports that this was the message to government and privately owned organizations as the world marks the 2022 Breastfeeding Week.
Breastfeeding, a process in which human breast milk is fed to a child as a source of nutrition for protection against infections and development of the immune system. A joint report by UNICEF and WHO shows that in Nigeria, 1 in 8 children do not reach their 5th birthday, while 3 in 10 are stunted. Reducing these figures informed this gathering.
If we have both the government organizations, we have the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs back us up, it is workable.
It's important that organizations start to have that conversation, develop policies where you have staff entitled to an hour break within certain hours in a day. You could have a nursing mother have 2 hours break.
Findings also show that breastfeeding, the risk of respiratory tract infection, and childhood cancers. As a natural prescription, they suggest nursing mothers embrace supplementary feeding. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Many thanks, Elizabeth. And still talking breastfeeding, to speak further on the significance of the issue is a medical expert, Dr. Nkem Ene. You're welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you.
Okay, recently we had a survey talking about 70% of Nigerian children lacking the adequate nutrients despite breastfeeding. And I'm just wondering, what do you think is responsible for this?
I mean, there are quite a few reasons. One of the very first one would be that they don't know, particularly if they're like a first-time mother, they may not be aware, if they don't have a support system around them, where a lot of them don't know that they can just kind of research these things and get information on how to go about doing the breastfeeding. The other one is this perception that the child is somehow not being adequately nourished by the breast milk, because breast milk looks very non-threatening, and so in their mind, compared to what they eat, the meat, the fish, it just seems like breast milk is not going to cut it, so they tend to want to add things or to stop it early. Another reason is there's a slight inconvenience. Sometimes the children bite the teat of the breast, so mothers are like, I'm not having this, and then another good reason is that they feel the pressure to return to work early. So, those are the things that women are having to process as they are trying to decide whether to breastfeed or not to breastfeed. So this shying away from it is not deliberate by the mothers? It can be. But usually there's an external force. Either this pressure to return to work and have to choose between the workplace and being available to breastfeed your child, or it could just be that you just didn't have the information, or, the physical responsibility that you have to put the child to breast on a regular basis. Some children feed every 2 hours. Some are on demand. So it's very hard to plan during those periods. So sometimes, particularly, the modern woman would have, she makes some very difficult choices sometimes. Yeah. Talking about the modern woman now, that's the working mother. Yes. How do you think organizations can come in to close this gap? Okay. So organizations, I think, obviously there's a lot more that needs to be done. As you saw from the report that you gave earlier, only 9% of organizations actually have facilities to support women in this stage of life. The way that you can do that is to start off by having policies. Many organizations do not have policies that kind of guide how these women should return to work, how they can have the time to do this breastfeeding that is necessary. So you would need that policy needs to include like breastfeeding breaks. Like we just said, if those babies need to be fed every 2 hours, then that means they literally have to pull themselves out of meetings to make that breast milk available. And of course, you can't have that child around in the workplace unless you have a creche. So you need to have a creche that is well staffed, with qualified staff. Obviously, no mother will have peace of mind if you leave them to an untrained professional. And it's very easy to think that this is a drain on the company's resources, that rather than contributing to the bottom line, it's taking away from profits. That is a myth, because if you have a very highly valued individual that is contributing to the bottom line, you really want that person to focus on their work. You could actually encourage them to come out of their maternity leave, and be supported in the workplace to deliver and, be profitable to the work that's going on. Thank you so much, Dr. Yes. But there's also, I don't want to conclude this discussion without talking about this perception that some women are also could have some particular personal reasons of not wanting to breastfeed. What would be your final word on that? Okay, final word is the myth is that if I breastfeed, maybe I'll be less attractive, things will start to drop and all of that. But there are ways around. Even like your weight will be well controlled if you breastfeed. Women who breastfeed do not have issues with returning to their normal weight before they were pregnant. The other thing is that the breastfeeding process actually contracts your uterus, so your waist comes back. That's balls that you get after you have a baby actually tightens if you. And as for the drooping stuff, in terms of, the breast actually dropping, you can use there are a lot of aids that we wear, undergarments that can help with that. Your baby is worth it. And how can the husbands and family support in this way? Just understanding that your wife or your daughter or your sister will need time to actually make sure that child is the best that they can be. The benefits of breastfeeding far outweigh any inconvenience to anyone, whether it's time or, just being available for other things. It's important that investment is made now for them to become a fully productive individual in the future. A worthy investment indeed for the future. Thank you so much, Dr. Ene, for coming on Nationwide today. Thanks. And my producer just told me now that Abubakar in our Maiduguri Network Center is ready for us. It's over to you.
That's true, Hawa. It's always good to see you. The Borno State Judiciary has inducted 21 new Sharia and 11 magistrate court judges to ensure effective justice delivery without delay, especially with the return of normalcy to many parts of the state. Borno State Chief Judge Justice Kashim Zanna performed the judges, warning them to uphold the tenets of the legal profession and avoid corrupt practices which can lead to dishonorable removal. Wagum Subukar will now tell us more.
Justice Haruna Yusuf Michelia there, administering the oath of office and that of allegiance on the 11 newly appointed magistrate court judges. Borno State Chief Judge Justice Kashim Zana, who described their new appointment as noble calling, urged the newly sworn-in magistrate judges to live up to expectation while discharging their duties.
There is no reason or excuse for corruption. It should, by now, be a judicially noticeable fact that we have only one reaction to corrupt conduct. Only one. And that is dismissal and disgrace.
Overwhelmed by their new position, some of the new judges promised to work anywhere they are posted and in accordance with the oath taken. Meanwhile, the 21 new Sharia court judges were also warned to discharge their responsibilities fairly and not to breach the oath, as its punishment will be beyond contemplation. Justice Kashim Zana informed that as soon as government provides the necessary facilities, they will move to their stations in areas considered safe. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Away from the judiciary to health matters now. Stakeholders in the health sector in Borno State have unanimously resolved to scale up campaigns to promote exclusive breastfeeding as a sustainable foundation for the child's development. This came up at the flagging off of World Breastfeeding Week in Maiduguri by wife of Borno State Governor Falmata Babagana Umar Zulum, who reaffirmed government's commitment to supporting exclusive breastfeeding. Pauline Kujevana will now bring us the rest of the story.
World Breastfeeding Week is an annual event to assess challenges and progress recorded on the path of exclusive breastfeeding, which plays an important role in managing the double burden of malnutrition and food insecurity.
Health talk yana taimakawa yara sosai, yana kare su daga cututtuka.
Wife of Borno State Governor, represented by the Commissioner of Women Affairs, Zuwaira Gambo, revealed that the state government and development partners have put in place mechanisms to strengthen action for exclusive breastfeeding.
Also call for greater investment in comprehensive breastfeeding programs, improve breastfeeding counseling and support for women in health facilities and communities.
Commissioner of Health, Professor Mohammed Arab Al-Haji, and the Executive Director of Primary Health Care Development Agency, Abagoni, stressed the need for a sustained breastfeeding as it provides the best starts in life and foundation for children development. Representatives of WHO, UNICEF, WFP, among other development partners, made known programs geared to scale up exclusive breastfeeding for the development of child health and growth.
To make sure that we prioritize investing in breastfeeding, support policy.
Maternal benefits of breastfeeding include decreased risk of breast cancer, postpartum depression, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes mellitus.
Other speakers also showed commitment to improving exclusive breastfeeding practices within 6 months of birth and 2 years for supplementary food. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
And those are the latest stories at this time from Maiduguri. Let's now return to Hawa in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide. Good afternoon to you.
Many thanks, Abubakar. And here from the Judiciary, the High Court of Akwa Ibom State sitting in Uyo has convicted and sentenced to death by hanging Udwak Akman, the murderer of a 21-year-old job seeker in Yubong, Umorin. The trial judge, Justice Basi Nkanang, discharged and acquitted the second and third defendants. Still talking Judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Ado Ekiti has struck out the suit challenging the victory of the Ekiti State Governor-elect Biodun Oyebanji at the APC primary election. The case was filed by Kayode Ojo, a former governorship aspirant in the APC primary election held in the state. Kola Adebobuyi has the details.
Kayode Ojo, in a suit earlier filed in Abuja division of the court, which was later transferred
to Advocacy Division is asking the court to decline him as the valid candidate of the APC in the January 27, 2022 governorship primary of the party or nullify the entire process. In his prayers before the court, Ojo argued the decision of the party to conduct the 2022 Ekiti State governorship primary election, purportedly with the use of political appointees of the state executive as electoral committee and returning officers, constitutes an irregularity and fundamental non-compliance with the party guidelines regulating the conduct of the said party primaries, the Electoral Act, and was therefore void and of no effect. In his ruling, the presiding judge, Justice Babs Kewumi, held that the plaintiff failed to fulfill all court processes while serving court summon as argued by the defendants in compliance with the High Court practice direction. He therefore struck out the suit for lack of compliance with the legal process, saying it has now become an academic history.
The law is that before any project can be signed at all in court, there must be a ticking, there must be an identifiable lawyer that has signed the process. So if there is no lawyer that has signed the process, it means there is no process before the court, and it means there is no case at all ab initio. From day one, the case was dead on arrival. APC had done all that is necessary. It means that the primary election is valid, unlike what he has proved.
The lead counsel to Kayode Ojo, Taiwo Ogunmoroti, declined comment on the ruling. In Ado-Ekiti, Kola Adebowiji, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress is adopting the bottom-up approach as a strategy while engaging its aggrieved members ahead of the 2023 general elections. National Chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu, says politics is local, therefore the resolution to encourage mediation amongst members at local levels. Sali Ugwanara reports.
The committee is headed by Senator Distinct.
As stakeholders and party members intensified engagement ahead of political campaigns, reconciling aggrieved party members remains a task before the APC National Working Committee.
We had a very comprehensive meeting.
After a closed-door meeting with members of the APC Reconciliation Committee for Abia State, APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu emphasizes that the party cannot afford to approach the 2023 general elections with a divided house, particularly among members in the southeast.
But we need to do some work to avoid and forget some of the prejudices that have developed over time and stand together to be counted as members of the APC. It's only when we unite and work together that we'll be assured of victory. We want nothing short of victory. We don't want anybody to come here after election to start crying and laying blames. A was the reason for our failure. We will not listen to that. This is the time to unite. This is the time to work for unity.
We are on our way back to Abbey and ensure that we go straight for the low-hanging fruit, which we would have lost if we didn't get together.
Reconciliation such as these is top on the party's leadership stride to reunite aggrieved members as a result of congresses on presidential primary. In Abuja, Saliu Gonara, NTA News.
Still on politics, the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party has set up a committee to reconcile aggrieved members arising from the presidential primary election. Timothy Yusuf completes that.
The ambience at the national headquarters of the PDP Wednesday morning was start of protests, calling for the resignation of the party's national chairman, Senator Yoji Ayu, over what they described as a failure to nominate another candidate following a federal high court ruling in Abuja, which disqualified its governorship candidate for Delta State. Members of the PDP Board of Trustees arrived at the National Secretariat of the party for their meeting, which reviewed the last presidential primary election and with a view to chart the way forward. Senator Abdul Ningi briefed the media after the deliberations.
We have equally set out in this meeting committee of the BOT to be able to interface between warring factions, particularly between the acrimony that is taking place between the presidential candidate and Gonoguke and any other conflict that is taking place in the nation within our party formation.
the committee members resolved to first meet with the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and with other aspirants. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And it's the time of Hingino in our Lagos Network Center. It's over to you, Hingino.
Thank you, Hawa. Regular surveillance of the maritime space against all forms of smuggling activities, external attacks, or criminal acts will not be compromised for whatever purpose. Commanding Officer Forward Operating Base, Nigerian Navy, Captain James Otache, re-echoed this while handing over seized smuggled rice and illicit substances to sister agencies in Badagry. Abolade Salami reports.
Another effort by smugglers to illegally bring in these 351 bags of parboiled rice and add substances ends in futility.
And will surely put an end to these nefarious activities of the smugglers.
Why they've devised means to circumvent security checks and flout law restricting illegal importation. Officers and men of the Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base Badagry says an eagle eye of surveillance is kept around the territorial water space to arrest offenders of these heinous acts and get their goods confiscated.
We have our intelligence network and a constant patrol within the waterways and then on land. But we will not rest in our hours to continue to mount pressure on them. We'll be aggressive in our approach. And in no time, we hunt them down and bring them to justice.
To ensure extant laws of the federal government is fully complied with as regards importation of items, the seized hard substances and parboiled rice were handed over to officials of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the Nigerian Customs Service for further actions. The security agencies acknowledged the indispensable role of synergy as key to winning the war against crime and criminality.
Their support to help us at least discourage this heinous crime is enormous.
As far as NDLA is concerned, we are doing all within our possible best to see that we bring this drug menace, trafficking, abuse, use to the barest minimum.
Strategies adopted by the Navy and other operatives to sustain the zero smuggling drive both on land and the waters. Officers reiterated will be pursued with vigor. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Ogidon U-turn is one name that comes up frequently whenever the gridlock along Lekki-Ekpe Expressway is up for discussion among motorists who ply the axis. Adeni Itayo visited the spot and brings us a situation report.
This long convoy of vehicles struggling to navigate through a cluster of bad and undulating portions of the road is a common sight at Ogidon U-turn. Originally about 5 minutes drive from Awuyaya, which is another popular bus stop along the expressway, potholes and near craters on the Ogidon section of the road inbound Lekki makes the journey longer and sometimes traumatic for road users and residents alike.
Honestly, if you have any appointments, you would have missed your appointment because it takes more than necessary. A journey of less than 5 minutes will take you close to 30 minutes.
Early morning, 5 o'clock, they will come and collect set here because of the road way bad.
The manpower loss that result from spending much time on the road is the reason behind Emmanuel Buji's decision to relocate from Awuyaya to Ogidon, hoping to put the gridlock behind him. Now, he wants to be a part of the solution as he engages in palliative work on the road.
I saw somebody from my church bringing the rubble through with a wheelbarrow, so I decided to assist by spreading the rubble down there. At least to help cover that actually bad spots there.
Clearing the heavy traffic is never an easy task for Kolawole Tajudeen, an operative of Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LASMA. Yet, he sometimes went beyond the call of duty to assist in putting palliatives in place to ease traffic.
The roads are bad, and the way out is just for the government to expand the road.
Already, a major rehabilitation work embarked upon by the state government is changing the landscape at Awuyaya. The expectation for motorists around Ogidon U-turn is that such will be extended to the bus port and on time too. In Lagos, Adeni Itawo, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return nationwide, we'll continue with Hawa in Abuja.
Why should we be in a difficult situation financially?
Once upon a time we were rich, but we're not a rich country anymore.
Disaster management is everybody's business.
In all these times, the organization turned to Nigeria.
We would as much want to harness the capacity that is within us so that we see how we can become self-reliant.
1 month ended and he said we are increasing warning strike by 2 months. I mean, you are incubating madness.
Even if these are officials of government who have been told to go and enforce the law and they have gone against the law itself, they must be held accountable.
One-on-one, Friday, 10:30 p.m. on NTA Network.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
I'm fascinated with the discourse on national monuments and assets and how much is being done to preserve and celebrate
the language issue. We have turned English to become like a pride value in our own cultural value.
It's not cash transfer. It's not a COVID-19.
Invasion 1897 was a deliberate.
Many of these people coming to the urban areas now.
These and applications, there are terms and conditions.
Of course, it is the union of two people, a man and a woman coming together.
My name is Nambi Odipo.
And I'm Elizabeth Omori.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's still nationwide. The Nigeria Customs Service and the Wildlife Justice Commission have intercepted 397 kilograms of pangolin scales, while 8 suspects have been arrested. The National Public Relations Officer of the service, Timi Bomodi, in a statement disclosed that the suspects, 3 of whom are Vietnamese, were arrested while attempting to traffic the consignment from Southern Africa to Vietnam through Nigeria. The statement also indicates that the smugglers, who are members of an organized crime group involved in the trafficking of ivory, pangolin scales, rhino horns, as well as lion bones, are already facing charges in court on illegally trading in wildlife. Sports is next.
As the 2022-2023 English Premier League gets underway on Friday with Crystal Palace playing host to Arsenal, Chelsea this Thursday confirmed the signing of Nigeria-born England under-19 international Kani Chukwuemeka from Aston Villa for £20 million. The 18-year-old midfielder, who agreed a 6-year deal with the London side, is already looking forward to winning games and trophies with Chelsea. Before his move to Stamford Bridge, Chukwuemeka made 12 appearances for Villa last season. Meanwhile, Kentucky men's basketball team has signed Nigerian international Ugonna Onyenso for the upcoming season. Ranked 18th in 2022 top basketball recruits, Onyenso is expected to play his way through the NBA in the nearest future. The young star, who turns 18 in September, became the youngest player to represent the Nigerian men's national basketball team, the Tigers, in a World Cup qualifier last November. In karate, 7 Nigerian female karatekas are set to battle for honors as they join 13 other countries to compete for medals and ranking points in the West African Karate Championships in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso from 4th to the 8th of August 2022. The tournament, which is the first of its kind, will see the athletes compete in different weight categories. And in tennis, Ons Jabeur of Tunisia has progressed to the quarterfinals at the ongoing Silicon Valley Classic after stretch 7-5-6-1 win over Madison Keys of the United States. Jabeur, playing for the first time since Wimbledon final, converted 6 of 9 break points for the match before winning in 1 hour and 22 minutes. Meanwhile, 8th seed Karolina Pliskova was knocked out of the competition by American Amanda Anisimova 3-6, 7-5, 6-1. With sports updates, Chukwunonso Nwabueze, NTA News.
And on a sad note, the death has been announced of Mrs. Mariamu Lami Dimka, who died on Wednesday, 3rd of August, 2022. The deceased was the elder sister of former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, and was the wife of late Commissioner of Police, Mr. S.K. Dimka. During her lifetime, she was a matron at the Ahmadu Bello University and served in various charitable organizations, as well as being active in church activities. She is survived by children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and other relations. And that's Nationwide today. We thank you so much for being part of it. Do remember, you can always partner with us as we fight against rape and rapists. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Good evening.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day.